Hi there, my name's Andrew Weiler from strategiesInLanguageLearning.com. Decided to go outside because it's such a beautiful day today here in Melbourne, just sitting in the back garden. I had a question yesterday from one of my students about whether it's useful to go and speak to people who are also learning the language they're learning. And as I was answering her, I thought this is actually a really good question, and I'm sure that people come to an answer to that may not be actually the right answer or the one that they really need to pursue. So I'm going to look at this question here now for you. I'll rather look at what I believe is a really good answer for it. And namely, there are actually two really good reasons why it's useful to go to talk to these people. One is that learning a language is learning a skill. And with any skill, you really need to put in the hours of usage, of real life usage, not just learning or artificial use, but real usage. So whatever time you can spend on speaking the language to whoever you speak to, whether it's your dog or your cat or your neighbor or somebody who's also learned the language, it doesn't matter. You just need to put the time in. I mean, it's no guarantee that putting in all those amounts of time will necessarily get you to the highest levels, because there are other issues there. But without putting the time in, I can guarantee you that your progress will be very, very limited. So the second reason is also a very important one, and that relates to the nature of learning. So when you go about learning a language, you can learn in different ways that many people learn. They go out and, for example, go to a language class of some kind, or go online, or study vocabulary from a book or the dictionary, or do grammar, or numerous ways to learn languages. Typically, though, what you find is that your learning progresses, and what you know increases and increases and increases. However, what you can actually do also may increase, but doesn't seem to catch up to what you actually know. And so there's a gap there. And this gap is something that I think really useful to talk about. On the one hand, if you keep learning and learning and learning, and what you can do doesn't actually progress at the same rate, the gap gets bigger and bigger, and really it sort of ends up being, I suspect, a disempowering gap, because you've done all this work and you think, I should know how to do all this, and I can't. And so it actually is quite disempowering. So letting this gap go too large is, I don't think, a good idea. What is a really good idea is to reduce that gap. And in fact, in the classes that I teach and people that I work with individually, I work extensively with that. Because a lot of people who come to me basically already know a lot, but the problem is they just can't do. And what I focus on is actually lifting up what they can actually do, rather than concentrating on just adding more to what they already know. And so, let's go back to the question of how useful is it to talk to these people. Well, so while you're talking to them, you can actually, rather than be focusing on their language, obviously you have to listen to them and pay attention to what they're saying and respond in the way you need to respond. But beneath that, you can actually, or by the side of that, what you can also be doing is focusing on your own language and focusing on improving as much as you can how you speak. And how you do that is you become more mindful about what you're saying. You pay more attention to, and maybe slow down your speech fraction, or pay more attention to the structure than you normally would. So your focus, or to your pronunciation and so forth. So you're trying to, instantaneously, as it were, keep monitoring what you know and what you can do, and that way you can slowly edge up your speech. And this lifting up your own speech is really important for any language learner to do, because lifting what you can do is all about monitoring what you can do and improving on that, not necessarily just going out and learning more and more and more, because those two things are actually quite different processes. And so working on what you can do is a really important part of learning a language, and that you can spend some time on while you're talking to these people. So it's not so much the value you get from what they say, but it's the value you get from what you say. I hope that's clear. If you have any questions about this, please just leave a comment below or a question below. I'm happy to get back to you about it. And this, in fact, working on what you can actually do bumps up against another question that really has come up many times from all kinds of people that I talk to is, well, what do I learn next? So what you learn next really can be guided by what you need. And what you need comes from what you can do, as it were. So when you're speaking and you're working to improve what you can do, some things you can improve because you actually know it somewhere in there, and some things you bump against and think, I don't know this. I mean, I just don't know anything about it. It's like a blank, a hole. And this is where you can focus your energies on what you do next. So you work on those areas that you identify as being gaps or holes in what you know or what you can do. And so that can really help you improve not only how you're speaking, but also guide you as to where you need to put your attention next. So I hope that's been clear as well. And again, just do pop down a message if you have a question, if you have one below, and I'll get back to you. Hope it's all been of some use, and talk to you next time. Bye for now.